Hey guys, it's Brigitte with San Diego Seed Company, and I'm super excited because today we're going to do something way different. If you are noticing, we're not in my urban farm or at my rural farm. We're at a totally different garden. We're actually at the garden of Jeff, my videographer's house.
Da, 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 da.
Here he comes.
What's up?
And we're going to take a look at and see how his garden has grown. I mean, it's amazing what you've done in how many years?
2.
2 years.
Just over 2, yeah.
2 years he's expanded, he's learned so much. I have definitely teased you and coached you. And
Every time I do something, I'm like, Brigitte would kill me for doing this. But I'm too lazy to do it right.
It's fine, it's fine. So I'm hoping that you guys learn a bunch from his garden, and you guys can ask lots of questions and post comments below, questions for why he did things the way that he did, because it's a little bit different than my garden. But before we jump into that, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. All right, we ready to do it?
Let's do it. And you know what? I had a good idea. What if we just kept doing this? There's all kinds of gardens in San Diego.
I know. Who wants to keep seeing my stinky garden?
Yeah.
Like, let's go see all the gardens.
How about this? If you guys have a garden, comment and say, pick me, and we'll come and see your garden maybe.
Of course. We'd love that. Especially in San Diego. Man.
Sweet. All right, let's take a look.
Cool. Let's go.
When we first moved here 2 years ago, none of this was here. This was all just dirt and compacted clay soil. And so the first thing we did was we added these boxes right here with the arches. And that worked out fine, right? But then, here, let's go this way so you guys can see. Like, we've got a huge yard. We're super blessed to have this space.
Look, this is the remnants of what used to be
Yeah.
here. Basically,
Oh, some of the stuff that
concrete crap.
Yeah, there's been concrete. There's like, yeah, all kinds of stuff that we've had to take out of this place. A lot of sweat equity into the garden.
And I don't know if we can like pan out and show. You have how many steps going up and down your garden?
Oh my God, that's a whole thing.
So you can't use a wheelbarrow. You're having to go up and down. You got a lot of body exercise, cardio. You guys even created a slide, right?
Yeah, there's a chute down there to ship compost and mulch and rocks and all this
So
stuff.
you've made this garden in a tiered space where you've had to do a lot of extra work. So for those who have perfectly flat back gardens, there's no reason why they can't grow a ton of produce.
I envy them so much. Like when you buy your second house, you're like, okay, this is what I hate about my house now.
Totally.
Next house is flat and we can pull a truck
No
around.
stairs.
No stairs. No stairs.
Okay, so I want to pepper you with a bunch of questions on
Bring it on.
why you did what you did, if you're cool with that.
I'm
going
totally
to
cool with that.
interrogate you.
All right.
Okay, question number 1, why did you make these U-shaped beds?
All right, so typically you would think just make a rectangle, right? But we wanted it to be bigger, but if you make it too big, you can't reach to the middle of it and you break your back. So we made this, I call it the Tetris bed, even though there's no Tetris piece that looks like this, but you can just walk in. So you have access all around, and then you can go on the outside.
Yeah.
So if we would have built all rectangular beds, we would have been limited on the space because you need to make walkways in between each one. But this layout gave us more square footage.
What I love about it is first of all, it architecturally looks beautiful in your garden. And then also people do forget that very middle space is really hard to get to, and it's also just hard to weed, hard to harvest. So this is a really neat way to set up your garden beds, and I just love it. So it does make your irrigation a little more difficult. Now, can you tell me a little bit about what this is and why you use this?
Yeah, so this is, it's just 12-inch apart drip line. And so we just made the elbows, and I'm guessing where the food is gonna go. So I just did 2. These are about 3 feet apart, so I did 2 tubes. And then the black is just
Supply line?
It's just supply line, it's polytubing.
So one of the things that I really love about drip line, which is this, and when I'm saying drip line, for viewers that don't know, basically the emitters are inside the tube and the water is coming out within the line. Now there are different drip irrigations where you actually put in a little poly tubing and you put a little head. Those are okay if you have very small beds, but for beds as big as yours and as many as you have, you need to be able to irrigate this whole bed. And a little emitter in the corner is not going to saturate this whole area.
Yeah, we use some emitters over there for like flowers and things where they're going to be there forever and we know specifically. But here we're changing it every season. Hey, that's my dill.
Sorry, I broke off.
What's the dill?
No, I just did it again. Sorry, which is very good. Yeah, so if you were direct sowing seeds, you really have to have irrigation like this. Otherwise, you're out here hand watering a bunch because this whole bed needs to be moist.
Yeah, it didn't take me long to put this in. I was hand watering a lot of that, and I'm like, nope.
Yeah. Now tell me, how much do you transplant and how much do you direct sow out here?
The only thing I direct sow is what you recommend to direct sow.
Okay.
Like radishes, carrots, things like that.
All your root crops.
But I'm sure we'll see it. We've got all of our seed starts over there on a table.
Fabulous. Now, I notice also you've got a lot of mulch, and oh my God, look at that soil. That is a hell of a lot different than what I saw when you first moved in 2 years ago. I don't know if you can see that, but it is black, it is beautiful. What did you put in your soil, and how did you get it to look like that?
So luckily we're in San Diego, so the Miramar landfill, you can either get free self-load compost, or it's like $12 to fill up an entire truck.
Yep.
So yeah, we've been there several times. I mean, the people we live with, John, who's actually on the camera now, literally bought a truck probably just for this garden.
You know what? You know you're a gardener or a farmer when you buy a truck because you need compost.
Totally.
That's fabulous.
Totally.
And I noticed too that you use a lot of mulch, and you know how I feel about mulch.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference. Have you seen in your garden that mulch has really changed the soil structure?
Oh yeah, I mean it turned it from brown to black. It's like, it keeps it moist. You know, all the things that you preach, I listened to and did them.
Yeah, well good. I'm sure there's some things I'm not right about, but the mulch, I'll tell you right now, I will not come back from that. That is something I really believe in. It makes a big difference. So, cool. Well, I really want to show the viewers your tomatoes because it's December. Yeah. Actually, it's almost January, and your tomatoes look amazing. Let's go look at those.
Let's do it.
We did an IG Live last night, and we got tons of questions about growing tomatoes in the wintertime. It's December 31st, so it's almost the new year. Your tomatoes look amazing. Tell me how you're growing them and why you're growing them through the winter and how you have them looking so good.
So the reason I'm growing them is I just like experimenting. You know, you typically just do it in the spring and you get them, but then you deal with just everything you deal with it in the summer, all the pests and all the heat and everything. So I actually started these in the end of August just for fun, just to see if it would work. And it has. The only difference is it just grows a lot slower.
Yep.
Like, you know, we get less tomatoes, but you still have tomatoes.
Yeah, you've got some right down here. I mean, you still have tomatoes that are going to be ripening.
They're a little smaller, but yeah. You know, the thing that is backwards to me is lettuce is a winter crop, but you think of salads in the summer. So I'm like, we need tomatoes in the winter to go with our lettuce.
Same thing. You think about like salsa. You know, salsa is something you want to use in the summer, and you have your tomatoes and you have your peppers. But cilantro grows way better in the wintertime. So that's just that's a factor of globalization in our food system, that we can get anything whenever we want. But you were totally right. I want to show the viewers that you've got this fabulous system, which I have shown on our YouTube channel before. It's basically just a conduit, and then you've got the plant clips, and you're obviously staying on top of pruning. This is probably the most beautiful pruning shop I've seen. You must come out here every morning with your coffee.
With a coffee, and then I lose my coffee, and I'm like, where did I sit that?
Yeah, totally, but they look amazing. And I want viewers to know, if you're growing tomatoes in the winter, which you totally can, in zone 9 and 10, you can perennialize them. They should look like this. If they have lots of black spots, blight, powdery mildew, downy mildew, any diseases, you want to pull them out because it's doing a disservice to the rest of your garden. But yours obviously look fabulous. They're happy. Why not leave them? You got the space.
All right, so speaking of overwintering, we're standing in Pepper Alley. So we make a lot of salsas, a lot of spicy stuff. So all these are peppers that we're just going to overwinter. Yeah,
and they look fabulous. So tell me what you've done. It looks like you've trimmed these back.
Yeah, some of them we've trimmed, and some of them, you know, this is a bell pepper actually. So we just let them go on. But you know, in the winter, there's not enough sun, and it just kind of don't grow as well. But eventually, once I get around to it, I will trim them all the way back. You know, a couple stems here and there, and then hopefully next spring when it heats up, they'll just start popping out.
What's great about this system is if you have a small garden, if you're really busy, if you are doing a lot of things at once, sometimes it doesn't make sense to pull the plant completely out if it can continue to grow through the winter, develop a really strong root system, and then in the spring, boom, they blossom huge. Yeah. The other thing to think about is when you pull this plant out, you are disturbing the soil, and you're taking out a lot of really good soil, a lot of really good mycelium, different types of bacteria and fungus that live in the soil. So if they're not diseased and they're healthy and they're happy, in zone 9 and 10, you can trim back your peppers, leave them in the ground, and then come spring, boom, they take off. And you really save like at least a month, because they're already of size, and as soon as it gets warm enough, you're gonna have peppers early.
Yeah, and there's some of these, it'll be the 3rd year next year that we did it.
That's amazing.
So yeah.
Love that. And what's great about this is it's important to know, I mean, you're my videographer, and obviously I have strong opinions about how you do things in the garden, but that doesn't mean that it's the only way. The beautiful thing about gardening is it's like art. Everyone does it different, everybody has a different view, and as long as it makes you happy and you're producing really good produce for your family, who cares how you do it?
Cool, cool. Can I show you the rest of the garden a little bit?
Let's go.
We're standing in a little bit of structure that was already here when we bought the house. These cinder blocks were here, so we're like, rather than take them all out and build beds, we're just doing in-ground. So we laid the tubing. We've got some broccoli over here. We got our onions and garlic back there. More broccoli over here in front of us. And then if we walk ahead, a big thing that I love to do, not only get food, but also make the place beautiful.
It is. So, your garden, it looks gorgeous.
And so one of the things we do, we put in were these cattle panels. And so right now we've got your mammoth melting.
I know, they look amazing. Look at that.
And so yeah, and you know, we took your advice too. So you'll notice these are huge. If you look down here, we started these, so we did some succession planting. And these are one of the things that we just sowed in the ground because there's, you know, no sense in transplanting.
They look amazing. And the reason why, so for viewers to understand, the reason why he succession planted is if you were to plant all of this in these mammoth melting peas, you would have so much that you couldn't harvest them all. A lot of it would go to waste, it would get too big. So instead, you can harvest this area while this continues to grow, and as these start to putter out, these will just be giving. Totally. So basically, this is the arch of peas, and you'll have peas all the way until summer.
6 months, it'll be the arch of cucumbers.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. That's amazing. And these look fabulous. When did you sow these?
I started the biggest ones in October.
Oh, wow. So you started them very early, and they're really thriving right now. The weather is cool, days are short. They just look, I mean, they're I can't say enough how beautiful they look.
So you asked earlier about what do we do in-ground versus transplant? Well, here, come over here.
I'm hungry, so I'm just going to keep eating your peas.
So this is where we kind of do all of our starting this time of year.
Oh, they look so gorgeous.
So we did have a lot of rain the past week, so I had to come out here and empty the trays. I lost a few to dampening off, but the ones that are left look pretty good. Yeah,
these look amazing. I can see that you're putting perlite on top to help with the dampening off.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great. And now you have these in total full sun, outside, totally exposed. Yeah. And I want viewers to really know, to understand, because we get the question all the time, what do you start inside during the winter? In San Diego, in mild areas of San Diego, so not necessarily like the mountains, but here in San Diego City area, you don't have to start these inside. These are all winter crops that are perfectly happy growing outside. They're growing fast enough that you can put these babies in when those broccoli are done, and they look amazing.
Yep. You guys want to see our fruit trees?
Yes, let's go.
All right, let's do it. Not only did we want to do seasonal gardening, but with fruit trees, you put them in, you do a little bit of work, and you get a lot, right? I learned that from you. So you want to take a quick tour?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so right here we've got a Pakistan mulberry. Actually, one of my friends, I'm from Indiana, one of my friends shipped it to me and put it in. It's doing great. Really? Yeah.
You can get them here, you know that, right?
I know we can, but
maybe this one's special because it's from Indiana?
It is, yeah. It's got a special place in my heart.
Well, it looks great.
And then keep going, we got a banana.
Fabulous.
With a little baby in it. I do have a sad story. We originally had an orange tree when we first moved in. But it died. We had to cut it down, so we're going to put a new orange tree.
Fabulous. I do want to show the topography of your property. This is the lowest point in your property, and I'm imagining you put the fruit trees down here, so they don't shade your garden, and then also naturally water's going to run down to them. So they're really happy, and I'm assuming in part that's just because of the natural watershed.
Exactly.
They look really good.
You're right. So let's keep going. Here's an apple tree. This has got 4 varieties of apples on it. We've got a few. You can just see they're kind of just small. You know, still getting established. So
with apple trees and any stone fruit here in Southern California, or any area that's hot, you got to make sure you get varieties that do well in our very limited cool season. Yeah. Our chill hours can be under 100 depending on where you are. So that'll affect your apple production.
Yeah, and what I've heard when you get the kind of the 4-in-1 where they graft them in, is that one just ends up taking over.
One ends up being the more powerful one. It's like, you know, the powerful sibling takes over, you know, it's a thing. So.
And then, believe it or not, so let's go away from trees for a second. All this bush here is one plant. Peruvian ground cherry.
Yes.
But it's like, it's massive. It's unbelievable how widespread it is.
And I gave you the seeds, right? Is that how this happened?
You gave us a cutting.
So cutting turned into this huge thing. This will take over this whole back area if you let it. So you do have to control it a little bit, but have you gotten fruit from it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's delicious, gives and gives and gives, and you actually can just like whack it back right now, and it'll just boom, come springtime all over again. But you have the space, you can just let it go crazy.
Good to know, good to know. Okay, back to trees. We've got a lime, I'm gonna call it a lime bush because we haven't pruned it at all.
Yeah.
We just kind of need to pick a main stem there.
Yeah, you gotta do a little bit of pruning here.
Yeah.
But you've seen my orchard, I'm really bad about saying
I'm just gonna hire somebody, I don't know.
There we go.
And then this is what I call a cutie tree because I can never remember the actual name of what a cutie is. It's tangerine?
Yes, Dancy, it's a tangerine, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Basically it's a cutie.
Yeah, basically this one is right next to our massive nectaplum, so it's real small. Okay, this thing is only 2 years old.
Yeah, I want to air some grievances here real quick. So, those of you who've seen our fruit tree videos, I have nectar plums in my orchard. We have 3 trees. It's my favorite fruit of all time. It's amazing. Our trees are 4 years old, and your tree is massively bigger than ours, and it really pisses me off.
Well, you know,
I mean, look, it's huge.
I think
the size of the tree.
You mentioned something earlier that I think is in effect here. We wanted a lawn because we've got boys to play around. We didn't want them dirty coming in the house. So when the sprinklers come up and it all drains out, literally this is where the bottommost sprinkler head is, and it just goes right there. So. Yeah,
you guys can't tell maybe the viewers as easily, but this is the low spot right here, right in this corner. So all of this gets it, and it is just so happy, which, you know, for those of you who are growing fruit trees in San Diego, it can be very difficult, especially when we've had years of drought. Let this tree be a lesson to you that they need ample water and regular irrigation to truly be happy. And you guys need to trim this because there's no way you can get the fruit. Ladder. Yeah, get a ladder, trim it, so you get way more fruit so you can share with me. See, I've got a master plan.
Deal. And then this is, there are 4 stone fruit in one. There's apricot, peaches, plums on there.
A very good looking tree. I mean, the base on this tree looks so happy. How old is this?
2.
I don't know, I think you're holding back on some secrets from me.
It is. And then we just got this, and we had a pear tree that died. We put it in last year, and it just didn't live. And so one of our friends was re-landscaping his backyard, and this is a strawberry guava.
Oh wow, that'll take over. They're very easy to grow, very happy.
We've heard.
I don't really like to eat the fruit, so.
Yeah, and then this is our very first tree, is our peach tree.
And this is fabulously pruned. This looks really good. I can tell that you guys have pruned it. You have some more work to do, but in general, the overall silhouette looks really good.
Yeah, we did a great job pruning that, didn't we?
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10 fruit trees.
Yep.
All of these garden beds, and you are in the middle of urban San Diego.
We are.
How much food do you produce for your family?
How do you quantify that?
I mean, do you guys eat out of the garden regularly?
Totally, every day. Yeah, we'll be able to get something every day.
So here you are in the middle of the city, growing enough food for your family and your neighbors. I know you share it with me. You've got all these fruit trees. I mean, I love it. You are the ideal gardener. You're doing what really matters, growing good produce, sharing it with your friends and family. And your space is beautiful on top of that.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
You've done good, Grasshopper.
Okay, Brigitte, before we're done, right?
Okay.
I have a feeling the video's ending. I got more to show you.
Okay.
This is our pride and joy. Right?
Yeah,
so
look at it.
This is one Lilikoi plant, passion fruit.
That is insanity, and there are thousands on here. It is insane. Here's one right here. Look at this. Yeah. Oh, actually, here's another one.
Yeah. Our favorite thing about this is you don't have to guess when it's ripe. They fall.
They fall off the ground.
Leave them off for a few days. Let them get a little wrinkly.
So this is one of the neat plants. When I moved to California from Kansas, this was the quintessential tropical plant. I mean, the flowers are stunning. I mean, it looks like something you would. I mean, Lilikoi is the Hawaiian word for, passion fruit.
Yeah.
It looks amazing, and what I love is that you are using it structurally for a reason. So this is a privacy hedge that gives you amazing fruit.
Yeah.
That beats the hell out of a privacy hedge that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, basically I just Googled Evergreen fruit-bearing vine, and this is the only one.
Yep. So those of you who are in San Diego, if you need a privacy hedge, even if you don't need a privacy hedge, if you want a plant that, as you can see, needs a lot of space to grow to be happy, do not get the non-fruiting passion fruit.
Oh,
I have
right.
so many people who say, oh, I got it, but they got the non-fruiting. You're missing out on the best part. We use this in soups and salads. It actually makes a really good salad dressing.
Oh, okay.
So good.
Nice.
And kids love it. They're fun. You can give them away. I mean,
Yeah.
again, if you're going to water it,
Right.
get something out of it.
And all this is vertical 4x4s, 2x4s on the top, and then we like maybe 4 wires in between, and it just grabs
Takes over.
on
And I
takes
see
over.
that lights up here too, so I bet
Oh,
at night
yeah.
it looks amazing.
I mean, market lighting, you gotta have that. Right?
yeah, well, it looks great. Cool. So I imagine you're going to give me a bucket of these?
I'll give you these 2.
I want a bucket, and I want as many nectar plums as you'll give me. Please.
Deal.
Okay.
Bridget, thank you for coming to
Yeah.
check out the garden.
Keep up the good work.